Breaking news about the fourth stimulus payments, everybody. Here's what you need to know.
But that we will pass the bill when we have the votes to pass the bill, and we cannot stop pressing for that.
Now, I also know that many of you are wondering when President Biden is going to sign this Build Back Better bill into law. Now, if you are a senior, just make sure to continue watching. So today, CNBC reported that a public health emergency could cause millions of people to lose Medicaid coverage. The bad news, everyone, is that up to 15 million, including 6 million children, are at risk of losing Medicaid coverage once the public health emergency ends. State and federal officials are scrambling to prepare. There are millions of Americans that are in desperate need of help from the government right now.
Pressing for that. It is so important, and we've all, in our caucus, 90-some% of our caucus, 100% there to pass the bill. And actually, in our House, 100% of them. But again, we don't have a timetable. That's an aspiration, which is one that would be useful.
But the despair could become even worse. Next month, as the national public health emergency comes to an end, this could lead millions of people to lose access to Medicaid and other benefits. Now, across the country, agencies are preparing for the unraveling of the expanded social safety net that was created in response to the crisis and, most importantly, the end of continuous Medicaid coverage. The provision is a requirement under the Families First Crisis Response Act, which was passed in March 2020 and prevented states from removing Medicaid recipients from the program's rolls. Let's go over the most important news first.
I'm a capitalist. If you can make $1 billion, $1 million, go at it. It's good. But at least pay a little bit. Fortune 500 companies. In Fortune 500 companies the last 2 years, there are 55 who made over $40 billion. Didn't pay a cent in taxes. I'm not talking about anybody paying any more than they did 10 years ago. Look, we know how to ease the pressure on families. We're increasing productivity and the potential for our economy. We can afford these investments by making sure the wealthiest just pay a little bit without increasing the deficit. As I said, no one earning less than, I guarantee you, check it out, no one earning less than 400 grand will ever pay another penny.
According to CNET.com, the IRS will now record your stimulus check from 2021 in your current tax return. This could lead to a review of your filing, lead to a delay in getting the results back. It's also important to remember that your refund is only sent to you once your case has been fully checked. It would be better to file your return as quickly as possible, and applications open today. Now, the good news is that those of you who welcomed a new baby to their family in 2021 could actually receive up to $5,000 on their tax return this year. Now, this is due to two tax credits in the $1.9 trillion stimulus bill that President Biden signed into law. Parents who meet eligibility requirements are going to receive $3,600 thanks to an expanded child tax credit and a $1,400 check for dependents. Eligible parents qualify for both the child tax credit and stimulus check, as long as the baby was born by the end of 2021. Now, they also have to claim the newborn as a dependent when they file their taxes this year. Many families already received the $1,400 stimulus check, but because the checks were in advance of a 2021 tax credit, eligible parents can receive the payment for their newborn this year when filing taxes. Tax season begins today, and all parents should keep an eye out for a letter from the IRS outlining important information on the child tax credit so they can ensure their return is accurate. Now, as the crisis grows in the United States, the need for more economic support just continues to increase. It is sad to see that thousands of people have seen their jobs taken away. But the good news is that more states have decided to send out state stimulus checks to their residents. Stimulus checks have at least helped many people, millions of people in fact, stay afloat during the crisis. But right now, it is up to state governors, state governments to provide their citizens with financial aid packages. Many people are left wondering what benefits are on offer where they live, as some states are offering a fourth stimulus check while others have alternative options. The financial support available in the country currently goes beyond stimulus checks thanks to tax breaks, extended benefits programs, and unemployment benefit increases, child and dependent care tax credit, and other creative initiatives in certain states. Now, states with the biggest amount of stimulus relief going out include states like California, Florida, Illinois, Maryland, and New Mexico.
I was born and raised the first part of my life in Pennsylvania, and I've been to Pittsburgh a lot. But all these years, I never knew Pennsylvania. Nearly 3 years ago, I began my campaign for president right here in Pittsburgh, first major stop I made. I I said back then I was running to restore the backbone of America, the middle class. It's time we began to build this country from the middle up and the bottom out, so that I've never known when a wealthy person didn't do well when the middle class was doing well. We always do better when ordinary, hard-working people have a shot. After I accepted the party's nomination in August of 2020, I came to Mill 19 for my first major campaign stop. And I laid out my vision to build a better America with better pay, greater dignity for the working people who are the ones who built this country. I often hear about who built the country. Guess what? The middle class built this country, and unions built the middle class. And folks, making it in America with American manufacturing and easing the financial burdens on millions of families, that's the same vision I laid out once again when I was here in Pittsburgh, the first stop I made after I was sworn in as president. Now, after my first year, I wanted to come back to Pittsburgh. This is my third time here in this facility. And to take stock of what we've accomplished together and look forward to the extraordinary opportunities that lie ahead for Pittsburgh and America if we continue to do our job. From day one, every action I've taken to rebuild the economy has been guided by one principle: make it in America, like we used to. No one knows that better than all the folks here in Pittsburgh, and that's why it matters so much.
Over 6.5 million jobs. But the reality is, even though the economy is strong, our supply chains are very fragile, and you know that. But the reason for that is because for decades, we've let all our manufacturing jobs go overseas, and we haven't invested enough in American manufacturing. That is particularly true for semiconductors, those tiny chips that power everything. We are far too dependent on countries halfway across the world to get our chips. That's an economic vulnerability and a national security vulnerability. And the fact of the matter is, and the President says this all the time, we can't have a strong economy and a strong country unless we get back into the business of making things in America. Right now, there is a bill on the floor of Congress that would invest $52 billion in domestic semiconductor production, and it would create thousands of jobs all over America. We need Congress to pass that bill in order to revitalize American manufacturing, revitalize American semiconductor manufacturing. It'll be a win for our workers, a win for our businesses, a win for our supply chains, and create thousands of jobs, and we can't wait. So let's hope Congress does their job and gets the CHIPS Act to the President's desk.